Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm here at Audi Denver to have a look at this brand new Audi SQ6, meaning that this is an S variant that is fully electrified. We got 509 horsepower, dual motors, quattro all-wheel drive, of course. Ascari blue. This is a gorgeous color, $600 option. We're going to have a look at the front end design, the side view, the rear, the interior, which I think Audi actually stepped it backwards when it comes to these new virtual cockpit interiors that we have right here. We're going to have a look at that. I'm going to let you know why I prefer the previous generation of this interior. And then last but not least, of course, we're going to take this for a drive. If you're interested in this one, it is for sale right here at Audi Denver. I'm going to link it down below as always. The Audi SQ6 is powered by a 100 kilowatt battery pack. You got 270 kilowatt DC fast charging, dual motors, of course, with the quattro all-wheel drive, 509 horsepower, 631 pound-feet of torque connected to a 1-speed automatic. The range sits at about 270 miles, and 0 to 60 takes 3.7 seconds, and the price for this is $83,000. My 11-hour online class in design sketching is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as a big pen and cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. Now, starting with the front end design, and what's new for Audi these days is, of course, we have the bumper headlights. We don't have the headlights where we expect them to be anymore up here. Instead, this full portion here is a full daytime run light. Then you have the main headlight unit actually sitting down here. And we still have, it still creates a face for the vehicle, of course. When you have the daytime lights up here, you can now consider these being the eyeballs of the vehicle. But I don't like when companies try to hide a key element like this, which is the main headlight unit. I still want to have that be the eyeball of the front fascia of vehicles. But it still looks good because, as I said, we have the daytime lights in the position where we expect the headlights to be. We also have these small little LEDs right here for the indicator light. And these, of course, make some sort of animation when you turn the car on and off. Not as, extreme as they do in Europe, because we're not allowed to have those extreme animations here in the States because of regulations and stuff like that. But overall, the Ascari blue, I do like that it comes back in the grille, and it doesn't necessarily feel like an EV when you're looking at it from a front view like this. Now, there's a lot going on in the graphics of the SQ6 right here. One thing I do love that Audi is still doing is implemented the single frame grille that we had in Audis for a very, very long time. You can see it right here. This outline, this chamfer, is the outline of the grills that we have on the internal combustion engine versions. We do have the 4 rings, of course, in the middle, and we have some very cool, interesting graphics here with these black inlays inside of this Ascari blue grill. You also, of course, e-tron down here at the bottom. Intakes completely open in the bottom. You also have the radar locator right there in the center. And this is a very interesting design as well. I do wish these portions right here were open and functional, so we had some airflow on the side. I can only imagine that would help the aerodynamic, features of the front end to just open this up a little bit. But everything here is covered up. But I do like the contrast between the Ascari blue and the black and this nice chamfer that we have going underneath the headlight unit right here. Beautiful. I've said it before, but I'm very glad to see chamfers around key graphic elements slowly coming back to car design. You can see that clearly right here. Now, look out top on the hood and the design that we have right here. We have the key chamfers coming back right in this area as well. So we have it underneath the key graphics, the daytime light right here, and then you have it on top of the hood in this area as well. So beautiful to see that coming back. The overall design for the hood doesn't really have a lot of sharp lines to it. We do have one sharp line right here that stretches and then continues into the A-pillar, looking pretty good. The proportions of this, what I like about it is that, as I said before when we review EVs, I don't want them to look like a blob on wheels. I want them to feel like if you open up the hood, you can still imagine it being an engine out under there. And I think these proportions do exactly that. Now, again, talking about the proportions, it's a beautiful looking car, this vehicle, because we do have the muscles over the front axle right there. You can see this line right here creating a nice muscle over the front axle, then coming back in the back right here, similar to what we have in the RS e-tron GT. Similar line right here, very substantial shoulder line in this area. And one thing I like about this specific EV is that it doesn't matter where you have the charging cable on what side, because you have charging ports on both sides of the vehicle. You have one charging port right here. Can't open it right now. Actually, now it's open. I thought it was locked. You have one charging port here. You have the exact charging port on the other side. Something we rarely see on EVs, which I don't really understand why. So let's close this back up, and it is power assisted. As you can see, it just closes back down. Now the wheel design here, Audi, I mean, when we're talking about wheels, going back to the old S models, the Avis, you know, the 6-spoke wheels, some of the best wheels in the business, and I think these wheels still look pretty cool, to be honest. They don't look as special as the Avis wheels. They still look good. 285mm wide tires on this, on an EV. Didn't see that 10 years ago. And then we have 21-inch wheels overall. Beautiful design. Thankfully, they're not, again, completely blacked out. Very happy to see that the faces of these spokes are actually silver. Now, I wanted to show you this view as well, because from this view angle that you're looking at the vehicle from right now, this is where the SQ7 has this properly planted look to it, almost as good as the Mercedes GLE, and not in the same class as the GLE, because that is on a class on its own, but still very, very nice design and proportions for this. We have this lower section being blacked out here as well, with the e-tron sort of integrated in this black feature. And again, we have this line down here to carve out this volume, having this fuselage design in the lower section. So these panels, these surfaces are facing downwards, creating a much more darker blue design or hue, because it's facing the ground. And in that by itself just carves out this volume that we don't want to have, specifically on EVs, because you need to have the battery pack underneath, raising up the overall height of the vehicle. So we want to do whatever we can to visually lower the vehicle down on the ground. And I think Audi's done a great job with that here. Now, coming around to the rear end of the SQ6. Now, Audi started to use light bars not that long ago in their models. And I think it's starting to look a little bit more and more like a Porsche Macan or a Porsche Cayenne when you look at this vehicle, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do wish we skipped the light bar. For not every single Audi needs to have a light bar these days. I want to have a separation here between the light elements, but the light design themselves have this beautiful design to them, very dynamic, with the thicker LEDs out here in the corners, having these arrow design to it. You have the reverse light right, you have the indicator light right here, SQ6 logo in black. Love to see it all the way down low. We have a decently aggressive diffuser in this case, this black section down here, and we also have this black graphics coming back in the rear end, similar to what we have, of course, in the front end, and also this black stripe that we have on the side. Now, of course, I have to show you a straight rear view, the view you're looking at it from right now, because the plantedness, again, the plantedness of the SQ6 is on point. One detail, though, that I would like to change here is, if we're paying this much for a vehicle, we don't want to have a visible wiper like we have here. I want to have this be tucked in underneath here. The spoiler is big enough for that. It will just clean up the overall design in the back. But other than that, I think Audi's done a pretty decent job with this exterior design, even though I do wish we hide this and also remove the light bar altogether and just have a separation between the two key elements in the back, the taillights. So let's open up the trunk and let's see what's going on back here, how much space we have. This has, in fact, air suspension, meaning that you can lower and raise the vehicle by just pressing some buttons back here. If you want to haul in some heavy stuff, you have two buttons right here on the left side where you can lower and raise the vehicle up and down, which is great to see. You have some netting here, and you do have the split of the back seats. So, of course, if you need more space, all you got to do is just split them, fold them down, and you have a lot of space back here. This is not, specifically designed as a coupe SUV. We do have a sloping roofline in the back, but it's not as bad as, these proper coupe SUVs. So you still have plenty of storage back here. Couple of LEDs as well, and that is pretty much it for the trunk space of the SQ7. So let's fold this back down, and let's jump in and have a look at this brand new interior that Audi just introduced in 2025 compared to the old one, which I prefer 100%. The functionality of this is still great, but the design has some things to it that I 100% want to change. Yeah, we had a look at this beautiful Ascari blue exterior. Let's jump in and have a look at the brand new interior for the 2025 Audi SQ6. Starting with the door panel right here, we have a lot of gloss black in this interior these days. These buttons feel nice, but I definitely prefer proper buttons instead of this touch tactile buttons that we have right here. Still looks pretty decent. I do like the integration of the door handle up here in this chamfer Bang & Olufsen sound system. You do have some storage and cup holders all the way down low. Looking at the overall overview of the interior, very gray spec for this one. I don't mind it at all. It looks very cozy. But the biggest change from previous years is going to be these massive screens that we have going on here. We have a 14-inch infotainment screen right here, 12-inch infotainment screen, gauge cluster, I mean, and then you can also spec it with a third screen over here, a 10.9-inch screen on this area right here. This one does not have it. Instead, it's just a flat black plastic here that doesn't look very premium to me compared to the previous generations. And another thing about these screens, there are too much plastic sticking out on the sides. For example, let's just bring down the fan speed a little bit so you can actually hear what it is I'm saying in here. Let's see, and just going into fan speed takes like forever to go in here to just find where is the fan. Right there, finally I get to it. Now you can see here this design right here. Why do we need this weird shape in this area? I just want to have it be cut like this, have a small radius, maybe have a bit of an angle for this area right here, but having this sticking out like this does not make sense to me, and it doesn't look beautiful. Audi used to have some of the best interiors just 3 or 4 years ago, when you had this you know, fully customizable gauge cluster set within a housing for it, and you could have the map there as well. I don't think you can have the map anymore in the gauge cluster. You have the map right here, but that is pretty much it. You don't have the map integrated in the gauge cluster anymore. And it's just a weird integration overall of this system. Now, it's not as intuitive as it used to be either, because previously we had this little separation down here with a separated screen. Everything was separated for the climate settings. Now we have this BMW style where everything is integrated in the lower section down here. So those are the reason why I personally prefer the previous generation of the interiors. And I've said this so many times before, I feel like we're heading in the wrong direction when it comes to overall, a lot of companies, pretty much 90% of companies are using this type of integration now, which I don't think is the most optimal solution when it comes to safety or aesthetics either. But looking at the gauge cluster here, you can customize it. We have a couple of buttons right here on the steering wheel, so you can scroll up and down and have whatever information you want here for the right side. And we click this right there, you're gonna customize the left side of the screen. So you do have some customizable features for the gauge cluster, which I love to see. You also have a big head-up display up front. Steering wheel looks very cool. It's flat top, flat bottom with the S logo right here. I think the S logo could have been integrated more of like an emblem instead of what looks to be a sticker right now, to have it feel a little bit more premium. Very chamfered and chiseled looking center portion of the steering wheel here as well. You have the Audi logo in the middle looking nice. Indicator stalk right here on the left side, and you have of course the washer on the right side right there. Obviously you have some paddles for it for the regen braking. I always want to have it be on full regen. You have 2 settings for the regen braking, that's it. So I'm gonna keep it in full regen. You can see it changing down here in that little logo right there for the regen braking. Go to 2 bars just like that. Now looking at the overall build quality of the interior, the build quality is great. I mean, it is an Audi. I wouldn't expect anything else from Audi. Soft touch material up top, and I do like that it's leather wrapped down here with the contrast stitching as well. We have some nicely integrated vents in this area, thankfully. They are pretty traditional looking, very easy to adjust quickly. You have 2 USB-Cs down here, 12-volt cigarette outlet, some storage in this area. This is what the key looks like for the new Audis. You have the S logo right there, panic button, and you have a lock, unlock, and open the trunk right there. And you also have the Audi logo at the very bottom. Looking pretty clean. Start button right here, drive select. We have a couple of drive modes here. We have balance, dynamic, comfort, efficiency, and off-road. Not sure who is gonna take their SQ6 off-road, but you have it right here. I'm gonna keep it in dynamic for when we take this for a drive later on. Love the red outline, like a hand sketched little red outline of the Audi SQ6 when you have it in dynamic, looking great. Now going into the infotainment system itself, you have a bunch of apps right here. So we can go in, for example, driver assistance. You have I don't know how many you know, assistance apps you have or features you have in this, but it's a lot. You can turn them on and off right here. You have favorites, lane keep assist, speed as well, on and off. You can toggle whatever you want to be on and whatever you want to be off. Very easy to do that. Going back to the home screen, going into vehicle right here, you have lights, settings, service, more. So there's a lot you can do in here. Something you're probably only gonna do 1 or 2 times and then just leave it as it is. I would probably use maybe 10% of all the apps in here. You do have, of course, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is great to see. Going into navigation, pretty responsive, nothing to complain about here. It's Google based, and you also, of course, can connect your phone if you want to do that. Now, looking all the way down here, volume knob is still physical. Love to see it. You have the start button here, drive select, traction control on and off, hazard, and this is the gear selector. Brand new gear selector for these EVs from Audi. You push it down to go into drive, you push it back up to go into reverse, and that is going to pop up the 360 camera. You can see it right here. You have the trajectory lines. You can also switch between different views like this, so you can see exactly where the wheels are positioned. Again, you do not want to scratch these beautiful 21-inch rims on some curbs or anything like that. All you got to do is just pop up the camera system and you are good to go. 2 cup holders. Again, too much gloss black in this area. It's gonna be so many fingerprints on this area right here. Same goes for the steering wheel, gloss black, and also in the door, gloss black here as well. It's just a little bit too much for me. We have a center armrest here, of course, with some storage underneath, and the seats looking great. Heated and ventilated seats in this case. So let's go back into park here, and all the way down here is where you have the heated and ventilated seats in 3 different levels. Great to see it. You can have it on both heated and ventilated at the same time, so you can confuse the brain of this vehicle by doing this, but I like to keep it in just ventilated seats right now. Again, the seats look great. We have the S logo right here embroidered or into the backrest itself. Love to see it. Beautiful seats overall, clean design, nothing too crazy going on. Proper bolstering as well. Looking up top, you have a full panoramic sunroof all the way up here, going all the way back to the headrest of the passenger. You can also open it up, as you can see right there. Beautiful to see that. Last but not least, for the front of the interior, you do have, of course, a proper size glove box in that area. So let's jump back, have a look at the back seat, and let's see if I can fit behind my own driving position. Being 6'1", 6'2", probably not going to be a problem at all. This being an EV, no transmission tunnel, and it's not the smallest EV either. Looking at the door panel here, you do have the curtain here if you want to fold that up. Same design for door handle like we have in the front end. And of course, window controls, a couple of cup holder storage down there, speaker integrated in the door as well. So jumping in here, we do have heated seats back here. We also have a couple of vents, and if we fold down the center armrest, we find ourselves 2 cup holders right there. The space is decent. I was honestly expecting it to be a little bit more legroom than this, because I had more legroom in the Genesis GV60, which is a lot smaller than this. But headroom is great as well. As you can see, no problems at all. So we talked about the exterior design, the interior design. Now it's time to go and take this for a drive. All right, guys, you know the drill. Let's take the Audi SQ6 for a drive, and let's see what this EV is all about. It's 509 horsepower. You got 631 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, 3.7 seconds in this pretty big machine. There we have the beautiful RX-7 again. Not sure if you can see it. This looks absolutely stunning. Classic old design at this Mazda dealership. So 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. And it's not a small vehicle. So let's put it in full region braking, first of all. There we go. And let's put it in drive select. And let's go into dynamic. We are in the most powerful setting right now. Dual motors, of course. You have quattro all-wheel drive. So let's go here. Let's give some distance to the vehicle in front of me. And let's floor it. So it almost sounds like we have an engine under the hood with the noise that this makes. But it still has this artificial EV noise to it when you're stepping on it. And it is quick. I mean, the thing is, I'm starting to get used to EVs just being ridiculously fast. It's just not a lot of EVs these days, because horsepower for EVs are so cheap. It's just electric power. It's not some fiddling around with a block of engine to cram out more horsepower. That is the reason why a lot of EVs these days just naturally have a lot of horsepower to them, and this one pulls. It goes really well. You putting the power down, no problems whatsoever. You got 270 kilowatt hour fast charging, so it's not the fastest at 350. It's going to take you a little bit longer than that, than if you were to have, of course, a 350 kilowatt charging capacity. But still, pretty decent if you manage to find a DC fast charger on your road trips. The biggest issue I have with new 2025 Audis is, of course, going to be the interior. I don't know about you, but if you look back a couple of years, the interiors that Audi had, that to me was 100% peak interior design from Audi, because it felt classic. My favorite interior design is going to be the Audi TT from around like 2016, where you don't even have an infotainment screen. Instead, you have these small little dials where the small display inside of the dial. That interior is a beautiful, beautiful interior for me. Now this one right here feels a little complex. It feels almost over stylized, even though it's very minimalist. But this framing for this area right here, this is way too much for me. Just remove this piece. I just want to cut this off right here, because it's just a piece of plastic, and we already have enough gloss black plastic in this vehicle. We don't need to add extra just for the sake of having it look like this. That's just my opinion of the interior. Some people might love this new interior. For me, I definitely prefer the old one, but I said that so many times before. The way this car drives though, you do have about 275 miles of range, which is decent. Not the best in class, but you're also rolling on 285 millimeter wide tires with 21-inch wheels. That is obviously going to affect the range of this vehicle. But it is an Audi. It's still an Audi, meaning that it drives beautifully, very, very comfortable ride. There are no squeaks or rattles in here, and we still have, thankfully, a couple of these red LEDs inside of this vehicle like we used to have in the old interiors. For example, in the passenger door there, I'm not sure if you can see it right now, we actually don't have it on this side. We only have it on the passenger door. But for me, EVs these days, same thing as I said with the Genesis GV60 when I filmed that one. The biggest issue is going to be charging times, but I do feel like we are heading in the right direction when it comes to that. We are getting faster charging times, and that is the biggest negative for EVs, specifically if you want to drive far and you want to take, go on road trips and stuff like that. That is when, stopping every 2 hours for 30 minutes is just not gonna be a good deal overall. The head-up display, we do have augmented head-up display, meaning that it shows the closer you come to a corner, for example, the arrow is going to get closer to you, almost like a 3D effect. Very cool to see that. Audi has always been on the top of the line when it comes to technology like that, augmented reality, and of course LED lighting. Audi was the first to have the LED daytime run lights in the Audi R8 back in 2007. First of all, with the Le Mans concept, which was way back in 2005, I do believe, and then it became standard. Everybody started doing it. So let's come around this corner and let's floor it one more time here. Let's go. Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely goes. There's no lack of power in this SQ6. I wasn't expecting anything else, to be honest. I mean, it's an SEV. Obviously, you're gonna have a lot of power in this. I want to say thanks to Audi Denver. I'm gonna link their dealership down in the description, and also, of course, this vehicle, if you're interested in this, it is for sale in this beautiful Ascari blue, which I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe the Ascari blue might be that old classic RS2 Avant color, not RS3, RS2 Avant. It looks very, very similar to that one. Classic color, deep blue, beautiful $600 option for this one. But go and check it out, link down below, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.